Okay, guys, have I got something for you? A lot of you guys ask me, how do I actually land the roles? I've gotten on the interview, I don't know what to say. I've got no experience, I've got no leverage. How do I get them to bring me on board? Because it's all well and good finding people to approach and trying to get them on a call so you can see if you can be a setter for them. But listen, like, that's just one little part of the process, okay? You need to know what to say on the interview and how to answer the questions and learn the entire framework to making sure that when you get on this interview, you actually land the role itself. Now, I've done, honestly, countless interviews for an appointment setter role in the past 2 years, okay? I've landed roles that paid me like 5K a month plus. And honestly, I know exactly what they say. I know what they want to hear. I know the questions they ask. I know everything about their entire process. And I'm going to share all of it in this video to you guys now. Because honestly, if you follow this to a T, it's going to make it really hard for you guys not to land these roles. Okay. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay. So this module, right, we're going to show you how to seal the deal on the interview for your appointment setting position. This is the nail in the coffin. And if we don't get this right, all of our effort will go to waste. Okay, so the first thing we're going to cover, guys, is due diligence. Before you hop on the interview, and this is super important, you must do some background research on the person and the offer that you're going to be working with. Okay, this really, like, it should take you no longer than 20 minutes to get a strong idea. The way we do this is we check out their social media pages, we check out their website, look them up on Google, watch their YouTube content, etc. Okay, you need to have a strong idea of who they are, exactly what they do, and their background as well. This is super important because it takes barely any time at all, and you must do this before the interview. If you show up without any knowledge on who they are or what they do, right, and they ask you what you know about them and you can't answer, it looks extremely unprofessional. And honestly, like, believe me, I've seen some setters do this and it kills the whole deal. Like, you can't be getting on interviews and not knowing exactly what the person does or anything about the individual themselves. Okay. Next up, we've got small talk and rapport. So once you've got that covered, okay, you've actually done some due diligence on who the person you're going to be talking to is. We're now going to go into the small talk and rapport section. Okay. And at the start of the interview, there is usually around 3 to 5 minutes of small talk before the interview actually starts. There's nothing I really need to tell you here. Just be clear with your answers, right? Ask them questions back, show an active interest, present yourself well, and don't say anything that's going to raise alarms. Okay, for example, just got back from Zante, we had a crazy lads holiday, and I'm just getting back into the routine of things right now. All right, don't say anything that's going to raise suspicions, and that is going to make someone not take you very seriously. So if they say to you, for example, what did you get up to this week? Just say, oh, you've just been working. Spent some nice time with family. Went took the dog for a walk on Saturday, and now just getting some stuff done, hitting some targets, or I'm just trying to get all my work done now. Back into the grind and having like a really steady routine. Just something that shows you're working and you're not like a party animal. If you're a party animal, great, but don't incriminate yourself to it. Okay. Now, let it naturally transition into the main section of the interview. You don't need to do anything here. Let them take the lead. It's their call. Okay. They're the one that's hiring. So just let them take the lead. Okay, they'll have their own framework and structure, which we're going to get into in a second. But first, I need to run you through the macro component of all of this. Okay, the underlying most important macro component of the entire process is having confidence. Okay, I know it sounds very vague and cliche, but it's so important to understand. None of what I teach in this module is going to work without confidence. You need to think of this like building a house. The bricks are what you say and the answers you give, right? And the cement is the confidence in how you say it. Without the cement, you're screwed. Okay, the most important thing to remember is that to be hired as an appointment setter, they care less about the experience and more about the character of the person they're actually hiring. Okay, so they care more about who you are rather than what you can do. Okay. And this is because of a couple of reasons that I've noticed. Number one is who you are dictates how well you will do in the appointment setting space. Appointment setting success comes from the character traits embodied: likability, confidence, persuasion, discipline, emotional control, etc. Okay, appointment setting isn't hard to do or learn. Truthfully, anybody can do it. So the barrier to entry by itself in regards to the actions and implementations isn't where the leverage comes from. It comes from the character traits of the person doing them. Okay, the character traits of the person amplifies how well the actions actually perform. Meaning they care more about who you are, which the confidence is going to show. Okay. And number two, even if you did have experience, they need to retrain you to their standards anyway. Every business owner has their own way of working, their own SOPs, their own structures. Even if you're the most talented appointment setter in the world with years of experience and millions of dollars in sales, it doesn't matter. They'll still need to retrain you to their standards and their way of working regardless. And that is a universal law across appointment setting, right? They will retrain you to their standards and show you their SOP and their structure and their way of working, despite whether you have experience or not. They're going to retrain you anyway, okay? So that's why the experience thing doesn't matter anywhere near as much as you think it does. They care more about who you actually are and the character traits you have, because that dictates how well you're going to do, okay? It's kind of like GCSEs in school. It definitely helps to have them, right? But truthfully, in the job itself, you'll learn how to perform based on what they teach you and how they show you how to do things, rather than what you learned in your exams. Within reason, of course, okay? So these two reasons should fill you with confidence alone. Being a beginner does not matter. Who you are and how you portray yourself matters. That is the main thing, okay? So it's really important that you understand that. Please, like, the whole experience thing can be overcome with elite level confidence and showing that you embody the character traits that they're looking for, and we'll cover that shortly, okay? Now, some non-negotiables, and these are absolutely non-negotiable to bring to your interview. On top of my previous point about being confident, you need to have these alongside you as well to maximize it even further, okay? And I cannot stress it enough, you have to have these. You can't do it without it. So number one is a clear camera and microphone, okay? A good like a decent enough camera, decent enough microphone. It doesn't have to be like some Twitch streamer level, quality equipment, right? You just have to have it so you don't sound like you're underwater, okay? It's quite an obvious one. I do need to mention it. You can't show up on a camera or webcam that looks like it was built in the 1800s. You can get a cheap, high quality camera for like $20, $30. It's a great investment and a must have for the interview process. Similarly, right, you need a good microphone as well. Again, you can find one on Amazon for like $20 to $30. You really don't need anything fancy here, okay? It just has to be an acceptable video and audio that doesn't sound like you're underwater, okay? If you fail to do this, you'll be seen in a negative light and blow the interview before you even start because it looks sloppy and unprepared. There is nothing worse, right? And I'm telling you right now, even just having a call with someone that's got not very good audio or not very good camera quality, it just kills the entire experience. So please don't shoot yourself in the foot and not have these things. And number two, you have to look presentable. Again, I know this one is really obvious, but I need to make it extremely clear. You must enter the call looking presentable, okay? Non-negotiable. You must enter the call looking just... It's not a hard thing, guys, okay? It literally means just being showered and overall looking refreshed, wearing a plain coloured t-shirt like this, right? Or jumper and having a mature background. For example, like, you could just have it like this, just sat on the sofa, right? You got a white wall, but like, you can see me here, right? I've just got like a white wall behind me and a picture on the wall. Like that's a totally fine background. You don't have to have anything fancy, right? You don't need like some green screen to show that you're in Dubai on holiday or something. Like, you don't need to try and pretend you're in New York City when you're not. You just have to have something mature. Like, this is totally fine. There's a sofa behind me and a picture on the wall. You get what I'm trying to say? I'm wearing a grey plain t-shirt, no brands or anything. I recommend that. Don't wear any brands, right? Wear like a plain coloured t-shirt, right? Clearly I've had a shower and I'm, presentable to this video. It's the same way that you have to do it for your interview, okay? It's really not rocket science. So the way I turn up to my interviews are as follows, right? Clear camera and microphone, showered, shaved and hair done, plain black t-shirt or plain white or grey or whatever, just a plain t-shirt with no brand on it. It doesn't matter too much about the brand, but don't be having like, honestly, like a Moncler t-shirt or a Stone Island t-shirt or anything like that. Don't. Just keep it plain, okay? They don't care that you spent £300 on a t-shirt, guys. It's only going to make them think you're a knob. Like, they're not going to think it's cool. They're going to think you're a knob for spending £300 on a t-shirt. So if you have got a £300 Moncler t-shirt, don't wear it. They don't care. It's not going to make any difference, all right? Okay? Sitting down at my desk, plain background, literally just my wall, no posters, pictures or anything. Pictures and posters don't matter too much as long as it's like evergreen and it's not like anything too crazy. This is just the sea and the ocean, right? I'm sat down on the sofa. Like, as long as it's that's fine. But like, don't be having like pictures of like, I don't know, Andrew Tate and Donald Trump shaking hands, for example. You can get those graphic arts where those guys are shaking hands and it's like, oh, I saw it on a meme one time, that's why I'm saying it. But like, don't have like motivational quotes or anything. Just keep it really neutral. And it really is just the basics here, right? It's no different to how you present yourself in a normal job interview. Think to yourself, what would I want to see if I was hiring someone, and embody exactly that. For example, sometimes I see it, not on like appointment setting interviews, but sometimes people hop on sales calls. Like, the prospect hops on a sales call shirtless. Yeah, don't do that. Okay, don't incriminate yourself. How would you feel if you were hiring someone and they showed up shirtless? Right? It's not a very good look, is it? Okay, number 3. Show up 5 minutes early. For every interview you land, always show up 5 minutes early. The reason for this is because, number one, it ensures you're never late, accounting for technical errors. I cannot tell you the amount of times I've had this happen to me, where my camera doesn't work or my laptop dies or the internet isn't working, right? So I show up 5 minutes early to account for technical errors, okay? Allows you time to think, prepare, and breathe, okay? Rather than hopping in like literally 1 minute before, allows you time to just go, just chill a little bit, kind of get your thoughts together, get yourself together, right? Breathe, prepare, everything like that. It's just really good to have that time beforehand to do this. Sometimes the host will be doing the same thing as well. They'll be 5 minutes early. So if you turn up early too, it positively impacts their impression of you because you showed up early, right? So if they're on the call 5 minutes early, right, and then you hop on at the same time, they're going to see that you're also early, and that's going to look good for you because you're clearly very on time, right? Showing up late will honestly kill the entire deal in most cases, right? Even just like 1 minute late is going to make them think, oh, this guy isn't very organized. Even just 1 minute, guys. So turn up 5 minutes early, okay? It's a really bad look. Show up 5 minutes early to counteract any issues that may arise. Number 4, leave your slang at the door. Another non-negotiable, right? Leave your slang at the door and speak properly. I promise you, this will make a world of a difference. Because as I said, they want to see more about your character than your experience. Speaking like a child doesn't do you any favors, okay? You wouldn't do that in a normal interview, so don't do it here. It's really no different, okay? Now, what I mean by this is slang like, I don't know, like bruv or in it or sound or not really, you get people that in slang, they don't really pronounce their words properly. It sounds like they're mumbling. Yeah, like I'm not going to do an impression because it's just going to make me look silly and stupid, but no, just talking like a child. Speak properly. Pronounce your T's. Speak like a human being. Don't use slang, in it, bruv. So, like, don't be doing any of this. I don't care if you use that language with your friends. Speak properly, right? And like a human being with these guys, okay? Speak normally. Speak normally. I can't stress it enough. I see it all the time. These guys are like millionaires that you're going to be speaking to. Do you think they're going to take you seriously if you're calling them bruv? Okay? It's just like a lot of this is common sense, but I need to run you through this because most setters don't do this. It's really sad to see because you guys kill the deal because you're being silly, guys, right? Cool. Now, the real goal, you need to understand what these business owners want to hear. Understanding this separates you from 90% of appointment setters out there. They don't want more leads. They don't want more calls in the calendar. They want more cash in the bank. They're focused on the end result, not the intricacies of how they'll actually get it. This is all they care about, the end result. If this is all they care about, then it's all you should care about too. This is your number one focus when explaining how you can help. I'm not just going to get you calls on the calendar because truthfully, that doesn't move the business forward. I'm going to get you more clients, more cash in the bank because that's what really matters here. You're going to book them appointments with leads so qualified that it would be unreasonable for them not to close. That's what you're going to say to them, okay? I'm not going to get you calls on the calendar. I'm going to get you cash and clients because that is truthfully all that matters. Appointments don't equal cash. Right? Cash equals cash. I'm going to get you cash, not just calls on the calendar, right? But actual cash and clients. And that's what you're going to say to them. It's going to put you in so much higher of a light than every other appointment setter because they say, oh, I'm going to book you more calls. If you say, I'm going to get you more clients, you're going to stand out just by saying that alone. Okay. Now let's go through the questions they're going to ask you. Now we understand the fundamentals. I'm going to show you the questions will most likely be asked in the interview and also how to answer them correctly as well. Telling them exactly what they want and need to hear. Now, I really recommend you take some time to go through these and memorize your responses because it looks even better if you can answer their questions quickly and confidently. Again, the underlying component for your success with this model, right, is your confidence and your character. It's ultimately all about your character. Keep that in mind at all times. Character over everything else, okay? Number 1, what's your experience and have you worked on an offer before? If you're a beginner, they're going to say something like, what are you doing for work currently? Why do you want to get into this? Okay. Number 2, what do you know about me so far? Number 3, what makes you think you'd be a good fit? Number 4, why should we hire you instead of other applicants? Number 5, what are your goals, short and long term, including income? Okay. Number 6, how would you stand out to book appointments? Number 7, how do you handle rejection? Number 8, what is your process if a lead starts off interested, then ghosts you? Number 9, how do you make sure a lead shows up to their call? Number 10, what would make this a good opportunity / partnership for you? Number 11, what would make this a bad opportunity for you? Number 12, how do you ensure you hit your targets and stay organized? And number 13, what hours can you work? Now, here's how to answer them one by one, okay? So, what's your experience? Have you worked on an offer before? And again, if you're a beginner, what are you doing for work currently? Why do you want to get into this? Here, just be honest. If you have appointment setting experience or sales experience in general, rinse it as much as you can, okay? Like there's going to be no harm in rinsing the fact that you used to be a car salesman or you used to work in tech sales or in a cold call center because sales is sales, right? It's transferable. So If you have experience in sales, leverage that as much as you can. If you don't have it, we'll get into that in a second, okay? But just be honest. If you have any appointment setting experience or sales experience in general, rinse it as much as you can. Mention who you've worked with, right? The results you got them, including numbers. These guys love numbers and metrics, okay, in general. Just give them a really in-depth overview, right, of your experience if you have any. And remember to include specific details such as numbers, right? How much you generated, the appointments you booked, how long it took, all of this stuff as much as you can, because these guys absolutely love numbers and metrics, okay? For example, yes, I worked with The Rock and generated him 6.2 million in 6 months of working with him. On average, we're closing a little over $1 million worth of deals per month, and we're booking around 5 appointments a day with an 82% show-up rate due to the strategy that I implemented into his business. Okay, remember, specifics are so crucial here, especially cash. Cash is king. When you mention your experience working with someone, you always mention the cash first. I worked with XYZ and I generated X number of cash. Okay, and it took me this long to do it, right? With this metric of close rate and sharp rate using the system that I implemented into his business that I'm going to be able to implement into yours as well. Okay, even if it was a sales job, working at a call center or working as a receptionist managing calendars and meetings, rinse it, okay? Those are skills that directly correlate to appointment setting and you should absolutely mention them. Any previous job or experience you can relate to sales or appointment setting, I strongly encourage you to mention, okay? Even if it's really, really small, okay? For example, if you haven't done appointment setting, but you've worked in like a call center, right? You can say, look, I've not been in an appointment setting role before, but I have 2 years of experience in a call center, which I'm confident my skills would transfer over smoothly to a business like yours, okay? If you don't have any experience at all, and there's literally nothing you can mention, you have to rely on your confidence and tie it back to how the same strategies you used to getting them to have the interview with you are the same that you'd use in their business to book calls, and they've seen firsthand that it actually works, okay? So if you actually do it right to getting these guys on the call, right, you've applied to their job post, you've messaged them on Facebook, you've followed up on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, you found their email, you found their phone number, you touch base on every single platform, right? And then managed to get them on the call as a result. And they say basically, well, what's your experience? Well, you're going to say, look, like, I haven't worked on a role before, but the same strategies that I've used to getting you onto this appointment, right, is what I'm going to put into your business. And you know that it works because it got you on the call. That's what you're going to leverage if you have absolutely nothing to say, okay? So there's still some hope for you guys, okay? And in my actual paid one-to-one consulting, I have got a very good method for you guys to use that is honestly foolproof, works like 10 out of 10 times for people that have no appointment setting experience. There is something that we can use as leverage. I'm not going to share on this, on this channel. That honestly makes it really hard to not land a role as a result, even if you don't have any experience. There's this massive leverage point and something that I've came up with that nobody shares online that I give to everybody that I work with one-to-one to be able to use, okay? So if you want to learn a little bit more about how that works, then you can, inquire down below in the description, okay, and book on a call and I'll run you through how I can help, okay? But cool, let's carry on the video. They care more about your character more than anything else, like I've mentioned, okay? If you can show you're a hungry, disciplined, and coachable individual with elite level confidence, they'll take you much more seriously, okay? Number 2, what do you know about me so far? This is going to come up more likely than not, and either way, it's good to have in your back pocket as leverage. Doing your own research on them shows initiative and increases your perceived value, which again ties back into your character, which is the most important factor here. And here are the things that you need to know and how to find it out. Number 1, exactly what their business is, right? Their service, the name of it, etc. You can do this by searching through their social media and looking them up on Google. Click through their links in their bio, scroll through their website. This information will be publicly available as well, right? As it's a personal brand, they have to display these details, okay? If it's a personal brand with a big amount of following, right, you need to be able to, you will be able to find this information here. What the business does, what it is, the name of the company, what the service is, right? You'll find this if they've got a personal brand. And ideally, you should be only working on roles that have a big personal brand anyway, because clearly that their offer is in demand, okay? And you don't want to work on an offer that doesn't have lead flow coming through because you don't know it's going to work. And if you don't know that actually is an offer that's desired or an offer that actually works, then you're not going to make as much money as a result because it hasn't got the proof of concept, okay? Number 2, their backstory, for example, how they started. This comes from scrolling through their social media, consuming their content, watching their YouTube channel, if they have one, right? Googling their name and reading everything that comes up, watching podcasts they feature on, basically any piece of content they're featured in, watch it and take notes. You can also ask ChatGPT as well, right? Let's say Bob Jones. He's got a fitness coaching offer and you want to learn a little bit more about him and his backstory. Just ask ChatGPT, right? You're going to find the same information if you did it yourself. You're just going to find it a lot quicker if you ask ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT, what's this guy's backstory? How did he start? Give me everything you know about Bob Jones and use that as leverage when you get on the call so you actually know what they do, right? And how to answer his questions properly based on like his experience, what he's done in the past, his business name, everything. That's going to be assets to you. It's going to be your leverage. So number 3 is their goal. So like why they do it. This is super easy to find. Again, comes from digesting their content, and also ChatGPT search would really help here too. Okay. Just say, for example, again, Bob Jones. What is Bob Jones, like owner of this program, right? What is his mission statement? What's his goal? What does he talk about online about what his actual goal is? A lot of the time when these guys are a personal brand, they'll say on YouTube videos and podcasts about how their goal is to help fitness coaches hit their first 7-figure year or whatever. They always splurge that on the internet, okay? ChatGPT will go and find it, or you can go and find it yourself manually. It will just take a little bit longer, okay? Yeah, number 4, where they're from. Again, watch their content, listen to their accent, ask ChatGPT, search Google, and also you can ask them this at the start of the interview in the small talk section. Just say, oh mate, where are you based? Are you in the UK? Whereabouts in the UK are you from? And then you can use that as leverage later down the line. Okay, when they say, what do you know about me? Okay, you could say, oh, I know you're from London, right? You grew up in Bradford, and then you moved to central London, and I don't know, I'm just making stuff up on the spot now. Okay, it doesn't matter. Right, question number 3, what makes you a good fit? So leveraging any other prior experience here is a necessity, if applicable, right? And tying it back to how the skills will smoothly transfer into this role. Again, if you have no experience or leverage, then you'll have to retie it back to the character traits that you know they want, okay? And show that you embody them. And here's a few things that they want to hear as a response to this answer, okay? So you're going to mention how you track metrics, like your life depends on it, and can diagnose the bottlenecks effectively. The tracking sheet right here that you use allows you to predictably hit their KPIs and mitigate any bottlenecks. By the way, guys, if you want this whole document, right, to yourself to go through in your own time, right, message me and, well, follow me and message me on Instagram at AidenKSocial, right, and type in masterclass, right, give me the keyword masterclass and I'll send it over, okay, because it includes the tracking sheet too, okay. Mention how you focus on getting them clients and not appointments, so you focus on the end result. Truthfully, like I said, they really couldn't care less about the appointment itself. They care about what the appointment actually leads to, cash and clients. If you tell them you'll get them clients, not just appointments, you'll instantly stand out because most appointment setters don't understand this. Sell the destination, not the flight ticket. I'm going to book you more calls with the highest quality prospects that would make it unreasonable for you to not hit X goal. For example, unreasonable for you to not make 100 grand a month a hygiene standard for yourself, okay? If you know their initial goal, that will help you massively because you can tie it back into that. Okay, if you want to keep that line evergreen, you can say something like, I'll book you calls for the highest quality prospects. That would be really unreasonable for you to not close them. Don't copy these word for word. Use it as inspiration, because if you all say the same thing, you're going to make it harder for yourselves. If you copy all of this word for word, like, people are going to notice a pattern that you're just copying, and they won't take you seriously, because copying, like, nobody respects copying. Okay, I'm just giving you frameworks and an idea of what to work off. Okay. Next one, following on, mention you're focused on the bigger picture rather than the micro, which is to book an appointments. So doing your initial research in the beginning stages is a necessity for this, okay? If you mention how you're looking to be there for the long term and really be a key part of scaling the company and removing the biggest bottleneck, you really put their mind at ease that they're not just hiring someone who wants to get paid fast, which again comes back into your character, okay? If you look like you're just there to get paid, they're going to sniff it out instantly. Trust me, they will, okay? So restating their bottleneck and building pain around it, then tie it back to the value of working with you is how you're going to overcome this. Okay, it's how you're going to go about doing this. Every business owner hates bottlenecks. It's all they think about. It's one of their biggest pain points. Anytime they think of it, it puts them in a state of pain, which we can use as leverage to tie back into why working with us is a good idea. If they're trying to hire an appointment setter, they know it's because they have an opportunity to make more money from the company, right? But they're too busy to do the task themselves because they need to get you to do it, right? They know the longer they leave it, the more cash they're leaving on the table, which is intense pain, okay? They also know they need someone capable and competent of handling this task for them, right? Which you can tie back to yourself and your experience. Additionally, right, hiring commission-based salespeople is music to their ears because they make more money, but they only have to spend it if it actually comes in from your work, meaning there's no risk at all for them. You're a commission-based appointment setter, and you can use the fact that you only get paid if you book appointments as leverage to finalize this point. Okay, like for example, there's an extra 6 or 7 figures trapped inside their social media. The longer they leave it, the more that number increases. You have the keys to unlock it, and you only get paid if you perform. So it's a no-brainer, okay? And that's how you need to portray it to these guys. Cool. Question number 4. Why should we hire you instead of other applicants, right? The answer to this question will essentially be the same as what you'd answer to point number 3. The answer to this question will essentially be the same as what you'd answer to number 3, but just solidifying your statements. They may not ask these two particular in order, right? They may only ask you one of them, but the answer is exactly the same for both. So get yourself familiar with the points I mentioned above, okay? Cool. So what you said here is going to be exactly what you're going to say for basically number 4, okay? What makes you a good fit and why should we hire you instead of other applicants? You're just going to restate what you've already said, okay? And what you'd already say in question number 3, okay? You're just going to re-solidify it. Cool. Number 5, what are your goals, short and long term, including income? You need to ask this question quite carefully, right? Because this is where they're going to catch a lot of people out. Remember, they want to see people who are hungry and going to be there for the long term. It's fine to tell them your goals, but you need to frame it in a way that they will be the solution for you getting there, okay? For example, don't tell them you plan to make $5 grand a month so you can travel the world and do whatever you want all day. That makes you look unserious and someone who won't be a good fit for their company. You should explain your income goals at the end of your answer after you've laid the foundations that show you'll be a good fit for the program, okay? Here are the foundations you need to lay though. Okay, number 1, you're looking to work with a good company. Here you'll mention how you're looking to be part of a company that shows consistent lead flow, a credible offer that works, and a good team culture for you to place into, okay? This shows signs of a serious candidate and also shows that you also know what you're talking about because you're concerned about the lead flow and the offer quality, okay? It shows that you're not just brand new, because this is why most setters fail. They don't know how to spot a bad offer. They don't know what to ask for, okay? And this is why most setting companies get free work out of setters, because you don't know what you're looking for, okay? You're just brand new, you have no idea what you guys are looking for, okay? You're looking to sharpen your skills and become a master of your craft. This skill is sales, okay? Mentioning how you're looking to keep sharpening your skills, become the best salesperson possible, and you believe their company would be a good opportunity for you to refine this, shows how serious you are and that you have the right intentions. Every company wants to hire someone who's always looking to become better at what they do, right? And it also shows where your priorities lay. You want to help as many people as possible achieve their desired state with the offer that you're selling. Saying this shows that you actually care about what you do, you have the right intentions, and you're focused on producing real-world results rather than just getting paid, okay? And finally, your income goals. Keep them realistic. Don't scare them off. If you want to be at 5K a month, great, but don't tell them that straight off the bat. Mention that you'd like to hit a lower figure, such as 2K a month, and then have the opportunity to progress to 5K a month, which is your real goal, once you've proven yourself, okay? Again, so a line like this is going to show you're serious and likely to be there for the long term. Also, that you have realistic expectations and aren't expecting a quick payday. All signs that you'd be a good hire. This is exactly what they want to see, okay? So you can say $5 grand a month, okay? But don't say, oh, I want to hit 5K a month straight away. You say, look, I'd love to get to 2K a month, even a bit lower, okay? And then once I've proven myself and I've built up my skills and I've, developed myself within the company, I'd love the opportunity to progress further to 5K down the line, okay? That is such a mature answer that they'd rather hear compared to, I want to make 10K a month straight away. Most people say that, I want to make 10K a month. So if you start lower at 2 and then say, I'd love to progress to 5, it shows you're thinking long term and you're going to be there for the foreseeable future, which is a really good sign, okay? They don't want someone that's going to hop on, try and make a quick buck and then leave, okay? This shows you're actually thinking long term, which is how they think, which is also what they want to see in a setter, okay? Cool. Right, number 6. How would you stand out and book appointments? You're metrics obsessed and can diagnose and fix bottlenecks, right? Mention the tracking sheet that you have that allows you to track your metrics, enabling you to diagnose and fix bottlenecks that they may not be able to see, right, at ease. Bottlenecks, right, is a huge buzzword for them. So mentioning how you have a system to detect and remove them instantly sets you apart, okay? So this tracking sheet is going to be part of this entire doc. So if you want to see this whole thing, again, message me on Instagram and give me a follow at AidenKSocial and I'll send it over, okay? But this tracking sheet is going to allow you to track your metrics and diagnose bottlenecks effectively, right? So just explain to them that's exactly how you're going to do it, okay? You're going to use a tracking sheet that allows you to diagnose and fix bottlenecks that they can't even see predictably. And that's going to make you stand out against every other appointment setter because they don't have a tracking sheet like that, okay? Cool. You'll leverage humor and personalization, right? So humor and personalization is how you're going to start the most conversations and how you increase your chances of getting calls booked. You'll rely heavily on these two components as leverage rather than copy and pasting scripts like most other setters, okay? You'll stop at nothing to get a prospect booked in if they've showed interest. You'll never let a lead go cold and do everything in your power to book the prospect into an appointment once they've shown interest, okay? And that's exactly what they want to hear, guys, They don't want you to just spam DMs. They want you to actually do everything you possibly can to book a good lead into a call. That is what a good setter does. And if you say that, that shows to them that you are the man for the job. Okay? Following on, right? You'll use your proprietary follow-up system that incorporates humor and personalization to re-engage ghosted leads and also make it unreasonable for every interested prospect to not book in a sales call. Okay? All of this is exactly what they want to hear to this, right? How would you stand out? You're metrics obsessed. You can diagnose and fix bottlenecks, right? You're going to leverage human personalization. You'll stop at nothing to book in a prospect, right? And you're going to use your proprietary follow-up system that you have that makes it really hard for every single lead that's interested to not eventually book on a call. That's exactly what they want to hear, guys, okay? It shows you actually have it all together and you know what you're talking about, okay? Cool. Number 7, how do you handle rejection? Here they're looking to gauge if they can trust you, because if not handled correctly, the entire deal can be blown. When emotions get in the way and the salesperson can't control it, for example, getting verbally abused, the deal can slip through the fingers if not reacted in the right way. For example, getting defensive and attacking them back is a big risk for them, right? So they need to know how you handle adversity with this. If you get defensive and you start attacking prospects back and you're on the Instagram account and you're pretending to be the owner of the company, right? Like if you're on the owner's Instagram account pretending to be them as a setter, then if you start attacking them back, it makes them look bad. It doesn't make you look bad, it makes them look bad. And especially, it's the same thing if they know they're talking to a setter and you start attacking them back, it makes the company look bad the most, okay? And that's a massive risk for them. So the best way to answer this is to show them that we make decisions based on metrics and data, not opinions or feelings. We're loyal to the data, not how we feel. We'll take all opinions as feedback to give us data and nothing else. Someone with good emotional control and intelligence is a trait desired not only in an appointment setter, but most roles, okay? So it's really important that you can show that you are to be trusted with actually dealing with rejection, because you're going to get a lot of this stuff. You're going to get people telling you to F off, you're going to get rude people. They need to see that you can actually handle yourself, okay? And also potentially turn it back into still booking in the sales call, even if you do get rejected, okay? They need to know that they can trust you, because otherwise, it really reflects badly on their company if they can't. Cool. Number 8, what is your process if a lead starts off interested, then ghosts you, okay? We're going to explain to them here that our proprietary system covers this, okay? Now, if you're wondering what this proprietary system is, this is what I cover in my one-to-one consulting program, okay? So I can't show you, obviously, exactly how this works, but I teach a full strategy from A to Z, how to book a cold lead into a booked call that actually closes, okay, predictably, okay? So I can't share that in this video. If you want me to make another video running through how that works, just comment system and I'll kind of give you a brief overview of how it works, okay? Cool. So we're going to explain to them that our proprietary system covers this, right? It engages leads effectively, qualifies them and books them in, and most importantly, not only re-engages ghosted prospects, but prevents them from ghosting in the first place. If they were to ghost us, we'd follow up consistently with value, humor, and personalization, giving them a reason to want to re-engage rather than feeling like they have to, like how most other salespeople approach it, okay, which is a sad reality, okay? So like, here's the thing, we're gonna make them want to get back onto a call with us, or make them want to re-engage with us rather than making them feel like they have to. We're gonna make them feel like they want to, okay? And that's exactly what these guys want to hear. It's just about making the prospect feel safe. They have thousands of salespeople trying the same thing with them every single day. We need to give them a reason to respond. Number 9, how do you make sure a lead actually shows up to their call? Now, this is a super important question, guys, because you need to know how to answer this, because if the appointments that you actually book don't show up, then there's no point in having them booked in the first place, which lowers your perceived value in their eyes, okay? What makes you valuable as an appointment setter is that you're booking them extra appointments so they can close more deals. However, they can't close more deals if they don't even show up in the first place. So the best way to answer this question is to restate the importance of the system that you're going to be running and how it will ensure the prospects actually show up to the call. You need to explain how when you book the call, your job isn't done. You'll confirm with them that they grabbed X time, for example, Monday at 2 p.m, as soon as they booked it, and you'll send them check-in messages 24 hours before the call and also a few hours before to keep it fresh in their minds to ensure they actually show up, okay? Every business owner that you're working with will have their own show-up system, so you'll be assisting them alongside it. You need to explain to them that getting them to show will be a joint effort with their own automated follow-up texts and emails, and also confirming it with them over the DMs. It's going to be a partnership, okay? Getting people to confirm they're still available to show up to the call makes it stick in their mind, making it less likely for them to forget if they're consistently exposed to reminders. And also, as humans, if we say that we're going to do something, especially repeated multiple times, we feel a subconscious responsibility to go through with it and actually, act upon it. Now, this just lowers the chances of them actually ever forgetting to show up to the call. It's important that you do at least 3 check-in messages confirming the prospect can actually show up to the call after they booked it, spaced apart, okay? Number 1, as soon as they book the call, confirm it. Number 2, 24 hours before the call, confirming they can still make it again, right? And number 3, 3 hours before the call, final confirmation. Cool. Question number 10, what would make this a good opportunity/partnership for you? This is a fun question, right? With this one, You really need to explain how the quality of the company, right, the offer, the lead flow, the compensation, and the team structure will massively play into account as to whether you categorize it as a good partnership. A lot of people here will just jump straight to the importance of the commission structure, but we need to list how the foundations of the company need to be aligned as well. Okay, so this shows you know exactly what you're talking about. Your priorities are straight and you're valuable, right? It shows that you're thinking of longevity on both ends, especially long term, which is a really good sign. Number one, okay, you're looking for consistent lead flow. You're looking for a credible and validated offer. You're looking for a fair payment structure with opportunity to progress long term and a good team culture. That's exactly what they want to hear, guys. That's exactly what you need to say to them, right? Good lead flow, good offer, good payment structure, good team culture. Okay, cool. Number 11. What makes this a bad opportunity for you? Extremely simple, this one, right? Just restate the answer above, but the opposite. Okay, so number one, bad and inconsistent lead flow, right? Number two, a new offer that hasn't been validated. Number three, an unfair payment structure with no room to negotiate or progress. And number four, a bad team culture. It's basically just exactly the opposite of the ones you've just said above for a good kind of opportunity. Okay, cool. Number 12, right? How do you ensure you hit your targets and stay organized? This comes back to mentioning the tracking sheet again. You will track your metrics like your life depends on it and won't let any engaged leads slip through the cracks. All of the leverage here comes from that sheet. It never lets you miss an engaged prospect, an appointment booked, or a lead to follow up with. That alongside a fair payment structure that excites you to hit your targets. That alone will keep you on top of your game 24/7, okay? So that's exactly what you're going to say to these guys. That's how you ensure you hit your targets. A lot of the leverage is going to come from that tracking sheet. And again, if you want that sheet, message me and follow me on Instagram at AidenK and I'll send it over, okay? But that's exactly what you say back to them, okay? You have the sheet, right, which keeps you fully accountable, right? And also having a good structure in place. Make sure that you're going to stay hungry and stay performing really, really well. Okay, cool. 13, what hours or time zones can you work? Super important to frame this one correctly, especially if you're working a 9 to 5 or a similar job. If you're working a 9 to 5 or another role, for example, just tell them honestly, right? But mention you have several hours free before and after, as well as pockets throughout the day that you can work. I would recommend like if you're working a job, like don't just say, oh yeah, I'm working this job at the moment. Like if you have to mention, I try not to mention that you're working a job just yet, but if you absolutely have to, just say, look, I'm working, I'm doing this part-time, but I've got loads of time throughout the day free. I've got loads of pockets throughout the day and I'm certain this isn't a problem. And, I'm looking to eventually start doing this full-time and I'm hoping this can be the opportunity that allow me to do it, right? Okay, you're very confident you can manage both effectively. So the appointment setting role and the job, if you do mention that you have one, right? You're happy to work weekends too, until you're able to work with them full time. You'll be able to work multiple time zones, seeing as you'll be messaging them all throughout the day. For example, when you work evenings, that's prime US time. Okay, so if you're working 9 to 5 and then you want to do a bit of work, like appointment setting work in the evening, like 7 or 8 p.m., those are prime US time zones, okay? So you can work UK and US times there. And those are the two big pillars of, sales environments is UK and US leads, okay? Cool. If you're not currently working, and this will be your only commitment, just straight up tell them you can work any hours they want if you have no other commitments, okay? So if you literally just don't have anything else, you're unemployed, for example, you want to do this full time, you've taken the leap, tell them, look, I've got no commitments, I can do this full time. Okay, if you have a job, right, just tell them honestly. But like, I'm trying to think of how to word this. Like, I would try and hold off telling them that you have a job until they explicitly ask you. And when you say it, don't just say I'm doing this job, so I've got another commitment. Say, look, I've got this, but it's not going to have any issues on the work I do for you. I've got loads of times free throughout the day. I have no problems, working extra hours, and also like, I'm hoping to do this full time and I would love to see if this could be the opportunity for me to make that transition. It's not going to affect my work at all. And I'm looking to eventually come onto your company full time, for example. Okay. And honestly, like, you're going to be totally fine if you say that. Some people might say, I don't want to work with you, I want someone full time, but you can just sell them on the idea like, look, would you want someone that can work full time? Would you want someone that can get you results? Because that's what they want. They don't want someone who can work full time. They want someone who can get results. They think they want full time. They don't. They want results. So you're going to say to them, look, yes, I haven't got as much time in the day as this other person, but I can guarantee you I'm going to perform better than them. Okay. And if you frame it like that with the underlying component, right, the macro component, which is confidence, then you're going to be totally fine and you're going to get loads of people saying yes to you. Okay. I promise you that, because I did that with my first ever role. I was working in a retail job, still managed to land a 5K a month position. Okay. Even while working that. Cool. And that's it. Those are all the questions that you'll most likely be asked. Make sure you go through this as much as you can to ensure this is solidified into your brain. Any other questions that you may get asked that aren't on this sheet, right, you'll be able to answer effectively based on what you learned here anyway. Okay, so if they ask you any bonus questions that aren't on the sheet or you weren't expecting, if you memorize these answers, right, you're going to have so much leverage to answer a question that you weren't expecting based on understanding how to answer these ones. Okay, so you're going to be totally fine either way, guys, right? So yeah, the questions you'll ask, right? It's really important that you can answer their questions effectively, but also to get answers to your own questions. This will give you an even stronger idea on whether this would be a good venture for you or not, okay? Now, these are critical for you to understand, regardless of whether you take the position with them or not. So question number one, we're going to ask them, how long have you guys been running for? This gives you a solid idea of how credible and successful the offer is, right? And also the longevity of having a successful partnership with them as well. If they're just starting out, it's not a great look. There's not enough data of success in the business itself, and especially with team members, meaning you're going to be taking quite a large risk if it is a startup, for example, okay? So you need to know how long they've been running for, and honestly, I'd avoid companies that are brand new unless they're offering you a good payment structure. If it's pay per sell on a lower ticket offer with a brand new company, I wouldn't entertain it at all. Number two, what's your main acquisition system? This basically means what channel/platform are you booking the most appointments from, okay? This will give you a strong idea on where all of their traffic is coming from, meaning where you're most likely going to be working as well. For example, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, okay? It also shows that you know what you're talking about. If you're asking these specific questions, right, you're saying it in this way, what's your acquisition system, right? It shows that you have curiosity to know more about their business rather than you actually, trying to gauge how much you're going to be paid, okay? So like, for example, what's your main acquisition system? A beginner setter, like who's brand new to the space, who knows nothing about sales, isn't going to ask, what's your acquisition system? So it makes you look a lot more established than you actually are, okay? So that's a little bonus for you guys, okay? Number three, how many appointments are you booking per month currently, right? We ask this to get a strong idea of where their business is at and also to indirectly cause pain, reminding them that they're not booking as many appointments as they want. Combine this with asking how many are you wanting, widens the gap in their minds, therefore creating more pain and urgency to fix the problem. The solution is right there in front of them. You, okay? How many appointments are you booking in a month? How many are you wanting? It gets them to think, oh, we're doing this much. Oh, it's not that great. What are we wanting? Okay, we're doing 30 a month. We want to do 100 a month. We're 70 away. Oh, how am I going to fix this? Oh, I'm on a call with an appointment setter. This guy is going to help me. He's got his proprietary system that he's going to implement to help us get to this KPI. Okay, cool. Number four, do you have any previous successful appointment setters? How much were they making, right? This gives you a really strong idea as to what your experience working for them will be like. For example, if they're offering you a questionable payment structure that doesn't seem very fair and you're unsure if it's fair or how much you're going to make, then asking if they have had any previous happy or successful appointment setters will give you a solid understanding of whether it's going to be worth your time or not, okay? If they're a new business, barely booking any appointments, offering a dodgy payment structure and haven't had any previous successful setters or any in general, it's a big fat bucket of red flags, right? And you should run a mile, to be honest, okay? So just keep that in mind. Like, understanding if they've had successful and happy setters in the past is a really good inclination to how successful that you're going to be yourself, okay? And how the opportunity and the experience is going to be, okay? So just try and find this out. What's your price point? This is great for you to understand, especially if you're on a commission-based role. For example, if it's 5% per close on a $2,000 ticket price, you're not going to make a lot of money unless there's a lot of lead flow, right? Which you would have gauged by asking questions 2 and 3, okay? So, like 5% commission on a 2K product, what's that, like $100 per close, and you're only being paid that? Well, the only time you're going to make like a couple of grand a month is if they've got a lot of lead flow. So if they don't have a lot of lead flow and they're offering this with this low ticket price, I'd avoid it because you're going to make no money. It's basically like getting free work out of you, okay? And number 6, what's the goal over the next 12 months? This both shows curiosity, right, and also gives you an idea of the longevity of you working with them, okay? If they have big plans to scale the business and take things to the next level, then you can feel safe that you'll be brought along with them, okay? And also your income will likely scale alongside it. Compared to if they say they're looking to sell the company, then you won't have a big window of opportunity and we'll need to take that into serious consideration, okay? So just keep that in mind. Like if they say, oh, we're looking to sell in the next 1 to 2 years, well, you've got like a 1 to 2 year window of being successful with them, and you can understand like you're not going to be having like a long-term play here if they're looking to sell the company, right? But it's also really good to understand their goal, because you can also use that as leverage to explain about how you're going to help them get to X goal. Okay, it's really good to know this information. And a quick bonus question before we finish: what stopped you from finding your ideal setter? Right, the reason why you would ask this again, right, is because it puts their mind in a state of pain and urgency to fix the problem, and gives you leverage to portray how you'll smash their requirements and how you're the missing piece of the puzzle that they've been looking for all around. If you follow everything displayed in this video, you're going to have no problems landing a role. Most appointment setters hop on the call with dollar signs in mind. If we take this approach and frame ourselves this way, we'll instantly separate ourselves from the competition. Okay, so guys, that was a bit of a mouthful. I think it's like an hour long video, right? But honestly, guys, if you go through this and you memorize these answers, it's going to take you a while, right? You're going to smash every single interview that you ever land. I promise you, guys. These are all the questions they ask. These are all the questions you should ask. Trust me, I've seen this from my own experience. If you follow this strategy to a T, you're going to land roles like there's no tomorrow. Okay. So, quick summary. We went through due diligence, okay, of obviously understanding the company before we hop on the call. We went through small talk and rapport, talking about the weather, talking about what you've done this week, and then letting them take the frame. The macro component, which is confidence, right? The non-negotiables, like having a good camera, a good microphone, and showing up presentably, right? The real goal, which is getting them more clients and cash. The questions they're going to ask you and how to answer them, the questions you're going to ask them, okay, and what answers you want to hear, and also the bonus question, okay? Now, guys, that is just one little snippet of what I include into my consulting program, okay? And I've actually edited it to make it a little bit less detailed, because I've got a lot more stuff in the actual real document that goes a lot deeper on this, especially with the no experience section. So if you want my personal help, helping you guys land high ticket AI proof appointment setting roles in 2026, okay, and do this properly as somebody that's still in the appointment setting game, and learn from somebody who actually knows what they're talking about. I've generated $1.7 million online for clients. I've made well over 6 figures with this model, right? I work with people like Charlie Morgan and William Brown, and I've landed so many high ticket roles. I know exactly what these guys want to hear. Okay, I know how to do it predictably again. If you want my personal help holding your hand to get the exact same results, there's going to be a link down below in the description for you to book on a call with me. Now, full transparency, if you book on that call, it's a sales call. It's designed to try and sell you something. So if you book on that call, I will try and sell you something. So you don't be sold to, right? Don't click it. But if you're serious about making this work, and you can see, just in this one doc alone, that I know what I'm talking about, and you'll get the same knowledge and resources by working with me, book in that call, and I'll run you through exactly how I can help. Thanks.